Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
All right, so tonight's topic is the government shutdown, and it may be ending, and I wanted to talk about how we feel about it. And
Yay.
Well, I would say it's ending probably, I mean, we assume this goes through until like the end of January, because then they'll be right back in the same place where, again, they have to come to an agreement where it goes back into shutting down in February. So either we get another shutdown and see if Trump can beat his record, or we'll see what happens. But.
So, to me, I'm pretty irritated about this, and I'll go ahead with my metaphor in a second, but the thing about this that feels so
it's like
irritating,
a simile, right?
Similar. The thing that irritated me is that, like, if they'd gone ahead and wanted to, like, at the beginning, right before the shutdown was going to happen, they were like, hey, people are going to lose SNAP benefits, let's just give in right now, I would be less irritated then than I am now about it, because now you've put people through this. Now Chuck Schumer and all the other people haven't gone
thing
through
to that.
Sure,
I agree 100%, but more if also there hadn't just been an election that Democrats fucking swept across the country, that is showing that the public supports what you're doing.
Yes,
and then you gave in.
Yep, that is a great point. So to me, this is similar to, like, if we negotiating with terrorists or the hostages, the people with SNAP benefits specifically, but there's a lot of people affected, right? Are the hostage in this situation, and if you give in right away and we don't have any harm, it's like, okay, but we've now let them cut off 5 or 6 fingers. And we're like, don't cut off any more fingers. We'll give you everything you demanded. And we get nothing. So now you've lost 5 or 6 fingers, and we're not even getting...
And if I can play the role of the hostage taker for a second, the Republican hostage taker, this is what they're yelling. Okay, coppers, if you don't let us take away health care so these people die from disease slowly, we're going to starve them to death quickly.
Yep. So, like, I'm beyond irritated with it. I actually tried not to pay too much attention today, because I was like, I might just, like, get myself all pissed off, and I was like, save it for the podcast.
Good idea.
But yeah, I mean, I saw somebody a couple days ago when they were speculating that this was potentially gonna happen, saying, the thing that this election showed, like Mamdani specifically, but like a lot of things showed, was whether you're corporate, not at a politician level, but us as the voting public, if you're a corporate Democrat or a progressive Democrat or anywhere in between, we all have one frustration in common with the party, and that is that they are spineless and don't do anything. And like, they don't fight. And
these 7 Democrats and 1 independent caucuses with Democrats decided to prove that's true.
Yes, yeah, and like you just said, Matthew, we won last week. We won,
and none of them are up for re-election in the next election.
I was about to say,
didn't even do it to keep their seats.
Yeah, and so
they're caving. They're caving the same way that Donnie doesn't care who he brings down with him, because he can't run again. So burn it to the ground is the strategy. And if they can't be reelected, so what if I give in? It's so weak.
2 of them are retiring. The rest are just not up for election in the next cycle. Like, they will be up for re-election again.
Yeah,
but
eventually.
Like, far enough away that this doesn't help or hurt them, because it's going to not be remembered.
It'll be in the past.
We as the voting public need to remember those names, and it needs to come up during their re-election, even if that's 10 years. I know it's not 10 because it's 6-year cycles, but you know what I'm saying. No matter how far out it is, we need to be
make
there.
Signs in the crowd,
and we need to have someone primarying every single one of those people, because they did, if like I said, I would have so much more, not sympathy or empathy, but like I would have so much more understanding. If at the beginning of this you had said, okay, we don't need to put the American people through that, instead of saying, okay, we're going to put the American people through that, and we're not even going to get shit out of it. We're not even,
The scary thing is, well, at least today, by the time they run for re-election, again, it's not next year, so who knows what fortune will favor. But the exception of Colorado, they're all swing states. Like some may lean left or right, but they're all swing states. So which makes it even harder though to primary them and not be an incumbent running against the Republican opponent. So it's primarying them. Like their thing is, hey, you can primary me, but is it more likely that I'm going to win in the general, or the person left of me, you're going to do that? Because you're someone even further left of me, they're even less likely to win in the general than I am.
Sure.
I feel
with the exception of Colorado.
But that is arguably an even better reason for them not to have backed down.
They have no reason. The thing is, they have no re-election reason. I don't know what their reason is, but it wasn't re-election because this will not play into their re-election.
Yeah. Nope. Now, if I remember correctly, and you guys will correct me if I'm wrong, but Chuck Schumer wasn't one of those 8, right?
He was not.
But that's because he didn't have to be. But people are speculating that he organized this, and it's because
even whether or not he organized it, he didn't stop it, and that's his job.
There it is.
His job as the leader is to keep everybody in line.
Sure.
Yep. So the people
people have been talking about primarying him for the last 2-3 months because of the Mamdani.
I think the entire left of him world wants AOC to primary him.
Sure,
she needs to move from the House to the Senate.
But also, like him really fucking up the whole Mamdani thing over the last 6 weeks. People have been like, if you won't support the candidate, we're going to get rid of you. Like, and so he's already in that boat. Like, so I wonder if that was why he actually didn't vote with them, or it could just be like, I don't need to vote with them because 8 people are already going there, so it doesn't matter,
Yeah, well, it just makes him look weak, though. It doesn't help him be the leader. Like that can help him for re-election, but not for being the leader. Because I'm too weak to control people. Oh, you should be the leader. Like, no.
Yeah.
So let's run through real fast who it was, since you say we shouldn't forget them, but you don't
absolutely.
know them. So Angus King is the independent from Maine who caucuses like Bernie caucuses with the Democrats, but he's independent technically.
Yeah.
And the rest are Democrats. Tim Kaine from Virginia, formerly Hillary's running mate. Maggie Hassan from New Hampshire. Jean Shaheen from New Hampshire.
Jean Shaheen, it rhymes.
From Nevada. John Fetterman, the Republican who calls himself a Democrat from Pennsylvania.
Right, Republican.
Which I think he's getting primaried anyway because he's been just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Joe Manchin, I've never heard of him before, West Virginia. And Michael Bennett.
I love that. Joe Manchin, never heard of him.
At least with Joe Manchin and Fetterman, it's like, well, we knew that you two you two already were in this shithole.
Yeah.
You already.
Yeah. So Dick Durbin is not running for re-election. He's already announced he's retiring. He's Illinois, which is because of Chicagoland, very blue that level. So probably he doesn't have to get primaried because there will be a primary anyway to replace him. So that's likely to be the Democrat is likely to win Illinois, thankfully. Jean Shaheen or whatever from New Hampshire is also announced retirement. So not assuming they go through with it, will not need to be primaried. And it's the GOP
Jean
is pretty strong there.
Jean Shaheen's been a politician forever because living in Massachusetts, we used to get the ads for her before we had good cable where it was real regionalized. It was
you said good cable.
We had we would get the ads for her. She was the governor for
similar in New York
while.
City. You'd get ads for Pennsylvania and New Jersey just because the New York stations were so it paid for them to broadcast on New York stations because New York stations were watched in New Jersey and Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I forgot it was Tim Kaine too. Ugh. Anyway, those people all need to be primaried. We need, I'm hoping that we get a lot of people doing what. I know that he's controversial in some ways, but Graham. I want to say Graham Norton. That's not the right name.
Chapman.
Grant. Is it Chapman?
Chapman.
Oh, that's from Monty Python.
Eric Idle. He's the next one, of course.
Eric Idle hands.
I would vote for Eric Idle over a lot of these people. Eric Idle's, I think, the one that's kind of stayed cool. John Cleese has kind of become a bit of a prick.
Graham Chapman died before he can be bad.
Yeah. And
live long enough and you become the villain. Die early, you get to die a hero.
I follow the guy. Why am I spacing on Maine?
Oh, the main dude.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Lobo's the main man.
Graham Plattner.
Thank you.
Plattner. I'm hoping that we get people like that, like, that appeal to both, but have strong progressive values too. Like to kind of say, like, no, like,
challenge
that's what I'm
a party status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Please do that.
Especially like Maine and New Hampshire are very similar in their politics, in their people. So like if you've got Graham Plattner, really posing a good threat to Susan Collins, you could easily go with somebody doing that for Jean Shaheen's spot, and for who was the other one you said? I know Maggie Hassan.
New Hampshire, both New Hampshire people are voted that way.
So you could easily, both of them could get primaried by someone like a Graham Plattner.
Well, Shaheen's not running again, so there's automatically a primary there, and Hassan can let's take her out.
Yeah, and
so I think the key thing is going to be that our friend Zoran Mamdani has to get stuff accomplished in his first year. Because if he gets nothing accomplished, then the push for more progressive suffers. If he gets some stuff done, scores some big points, then those primaries get to move to the left by proxy.
Yeah. But the reason I bring up Graham Plattner is, I think Mamdani does this as well, but in a very different way. Graham Plattner appeals to conservatives because there's, conservatism is different in different places, right? Some places conservatism's all about gun rights. In some, you know what I mean? Like the voting issue is different. So like for him, he is getting a lot of sway with the people who, who would have, he's primarying to run against a Republican. And so, and hoping to de-seat, is that the right word? Unseat. A Republican.
Defeat, unseat.
Yeah.
Unseat deceitfully.
Yeah. But he's hoping to do that. So like he is a really interesting mix of I don't want to say, that middle of the road, but like he's getting both sides from the left on a lot of topics. And so like, that's a good, I think if he's successful, he's a better model for New Hampshire.
I'm saying that Mamdani can be since he's so in the news, he's kind of a test case for far left.
Oh, and he could absolutely spoil it for.
Yeah, he can spoil. Like if he doesn't succeed, it hurts because everyone will say, "Well, look, they elected him and got nothing done. Elect me, and I'll get stuff done. Maybe I'm not your ideal, but I'll get stuff done." If he is successful, then the far left are like, "You don't have to settle. Vote for us, and we'll get stuff done." So it's a lot of pressure on him. So hopefully, he kicks some ass.
Yeah. And we need to, there's a lot of things we do unfortunately need to learn from the right. And when I say we, I mean the Democratic Party. And one of those things is that like if somebody went against the party the way that those 8 people did, and especially against the base on the right, they would be out on their ass. Like at least a few of them would be.
I mean, the challenge is right now that since we don't have any power, it's hard to even punish them. Because because if we were in power, they could be dropped out of committees, lowered down in committees, and it's hard to do that when you don't rule the world.
But like look at like Madison Cawthorn mentioned that they have like orgies, and he got kicked out.
Orgies, and he was gone.
He went from being like the up and coming golden boy to getting kicked out of office real quick.
Well, pushed.
No, they like made sure that he
just undid the brakes on.
They undid the brakes on his wheelchair. They pushed him
and pushed.
No, but they made sure the party
anti-handicap person joke.
Yeah, hey, sorry.
I'll be ableist if it means making fun of his butt.
Yeah. And I hated that guy, but But he, there was a time when he was like the golden child, and then as soon as he went against the grain, they were like, "Oh, okay."
He got too
and
weird for even them, and he's like,
yeah. And right now we're kind of potentially seeing it with I always want to call her Madison Square Garden, MTG, not MSG. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. I knew that the abbreviation was something.
MTG, Magic the Gathering.
Isn't she not married anymore? She's just Marjorie.
She did get divorced, or he's in the process of getting divorced. I don't know. I don't know the marital status specifically, but she, they told her not to run for Senate, and now she's really bucking,
pulled off of committees and just
Well, she's bucking against the system. She's the one now being like, I will get out there and read the list if you allow me to.
I don't want to go too far afield from our subject, but
I know, right?
But in the subject of Marjorie Taylor Greene, I will say that we here in North Carolina have a still new, his first year state attorney general, right? In Jeff Jackson, our former congressman.
Yep.
And when he was in Congress, he made a TikTok, which he was very wont to do, saying that some of the people you see the most fiery on the right in front of the camera, saying the most insane things and being unhinged and impossible to work with, are totally normal when we get together in the committee room. They do their jobs, they negotiate. If the camera's off, they're not the same person. You would be amazed. And this makes me wonder if Magic the Gathering, Madge Tadge, is not the one that he's talking about in that video. That maybe now we're seeing the real her. She's playing the insane person to get elected, and really, she's like, you know what? I'm here. I can start to be human again, and I can't keep
pull back some of the crazy.
And she's a conservative, sure, but maybe she's not as MAGA as she had made herself out to be.
Because
it's not popular to be anymore.
Well, I also think that the Epstein thing is really tearing a hole, because there's a lot of people who
it's a zipper.
They were like, a lot of people were like, they bought into the lie. I heard you, the young one.
It's like, Alex made his joke the same time I made my joke. We're both you're trying to be serious, and we're opening zippers.
But I think there's a lot of people who really were like, okay, let's like, if this is a really disgusting thing that happened, let's talk about it. And then when it became clear that the administration has no interest in allowing the people to process that the way, to whatever degree, they lost a lot. And I think Madge Tadge Gadge was on board as long as her agenda was going to be supported. And then, but she, it was probably like, well, I'm, kind of siding against this big principle that I espoused for a while. And okay, now that you've like, let me go a little bit and not like done what I want to do, I'm going to have to push back in this. And, I forget what podcast or what I was listening to yesterday, but they were saying like, she, if things keep going the way they're going, she's lining up to be a strong contender for 2028 because couch fucker's not like, he's not appealing, and the fact that he has an Indian wife is not appealing to the huge portion of the base.
He'll be divorced.
And if anything, he's lost any Republican Asian support he had by saying on a podcast that he's hoping to convert her to Christianity. So he's lost even her support. Anything she would have bought him.
Yeah,
he's losing.
Yeah, they Alex, I don't know how much I want to buy into the conspiracy theories about him and the widow. But
the hug was really creepy.
The hug was creepy.
No.
I mean, I'm a hugger, and I wouldn't hug someone the way he hugged her.
Well, I think that she was just as intense.
I'm saying I'm not saying he was molesting her. I'm saying their hug was on both sides very creepy.
There
and then
she
even said no one can replace my husband, but JD Vance comes really close, or something like that, right?
She started to say, I see a lot of
Ricochet,
one can replace
Rita,
my
that's
husband.
what we're talking about.
Yep.
Ricochet Rita called it. But here's the thing.
Said it too.
I don't know that I believe I don't know that I believe the conspiracy theory, but when you combine the things together, the fact that he's pushing back on the fact that his wife's not a Christian, the base is there's a huge port of the
so
Groiper movement
vile.
that doesn't want that, and I think that the widow is showing herself to be a bit of an opportunist. I feel I was trying to give the what do you call it, the benefit of the doubt with her for following everything, but like she seems like an
Yeah.
opportunist. I could see, and I also think she has
She
more
seems like a
charm.
shiksa.
She has more charm than he does. She has the ability to speak like, and she could be not a great.
She has
She could
more
be a
charisma.
great
She has a great
pairing for.
asset
She could be a great pairing for first lady
and a great pairing.
compared to. I don't think that I don't think that she's attractive. I'm not attracted.
I don't really
to her.
know what she looks like. I don't watch any of the news about her. I'm just making jokes at
You don't
your
think she's attractive, but 90% of the conservative dudes who don't leave their
Yeah.
basement do. So,
oh yeah, and the people who have a problem, who the conservatives who don't want Usha Vance to be the first lady, probably think that that Erica Kirk is like literally like
good replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good
That's the
replacement?
new replacement theory.
That's good. I will be honest, the level of education that Usha has in comparison to JD is embarrassing, and it makes her even more not a victim in this situation. The only true victims of that entire fiasco are his children. I really think that the overall weaponizing of a constituency against its own people can really only be done by a conservative party, because they as a group have collectively shown they do not give two redheaded shits about the constituency, whether it is one that votes for them or one that doesn't or changes. And in that situation, giving into that only further pushes the people that we're discussing as being new leaders of this party. It's not helping the situation that's already starting, and it's only going to look that much more egg on face when it all comes down, probably on what, like Friday maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I agree with you, and I also think that to Matthew's point earlier when he said we're going to be in the same boat in January, like ultimately, if they do get all this shit back together and the government shutdown ends by Friday, that doesn't mean things are up and going. Now, it probably means air traffic control is back to work that day or the next day. But
it's okay. Donnie already threatened them. It's fine.
Right, but SNAP benefits
pulled his Reagan action on that one.
Right? Yeah,
right.
But SNAP benefits are going to take a lot longer to get back in going. Like we've already had, like the courts have already like deemed that was, I don't know if they said unconstitutional or how they worded it, but
it was. And Congress has the purse string. Congress already gave them money as funds to spend on SNAP. The president does not have the power to not spend it.
Spend it.
You have to spend what's been earmarked for. But he's already ignored that. Two courts said it. He was like, I don't care. What are they going to do? Fire me?
Right. So that's what I'm saying with like, I'm not convinced that if the government gets back to work on Friday, that SNAP benefits, not to mention some of this stuff, how long has the SNAP benefits been down? 2 or 3 weeks now, at least, almost a month.
Yeah.
So if
45 or 47 days now. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've been struggling with nutritional stuff, especially with kids, like there's long-term damage that happens. This is not like going to be solved on Monday if it gets taken care if the government goes back to work on Friday. Like this is, there's long-term downsides to all this.
And Sarah, we at Triangle Free Thought Society have been raising money for the food bank here in Central and Eastern North Carolina.
Yeah.
Better to donate money than food, because they have discounts and stuff when they buy food. So $1 from us is $5 to them. So if you go to justgiving.com/page/goodwithoutgods, you can go directly to the food bank near you. Just search your food bank, give money to the food bank near you if you want. But this is a quick shortcut to give it to the ones here in North Carolina if you want.
Just giving.
We had $1,000 target, and we beat it in less than a week. So I've upped it to 1,500. We're at 1,250 so far as of recording.
Fantastic.
Which again is like $5,000 worth of food for them when they purchase.
Yeah.
They have some purchasing power.
Yeah. So I wanted to, Matthew, Alex and I had talked about this. A former coworker of ours has been doing a lot of work over the last couple weeks trying to get food to local people who are struggling. So, and she had her way of doing it. And so I'm hoping to get her on next Monday. I told her, like, even if the government shutdown ended, I didn't think that they would be done. So I thought, like, let's go ahead and have her on to talk about ways that we can help. But I think this is a great option as well. So I really think that we need to figure out how to help people despite what's going on, and we also need to just it needs to be whenever one of these people comes up for re-election, they need to get primaried because they threw all those people under the bus, and not to mention, like, even though I'm not, like, I don't know how it's going to affect my insurance or either your insurance as people who have private insurance. It could still affect us through premiums. It could affect us through
potentially. The insurance companies can raise everyone's insurance to make up for the money that they're not making through the ACA.
Yeah.
So real fast.
Free enterprise healthcare.
I'm gonna do what the pros and cons of what they did. Let's give them the.
I want to hear.
The pros.
No, let's get some facts.
So here's the pro. To me, the only pro. This minibus funding bill, which funds only through January, at least gets military construction stuff, veteran affairs, agriculture, and legislative things funded. Actually, all those, it's a minibus. Those are all funded through September 30th. So those are funded till September. Military, veteran affairs, agriculture, legislative affairs. So that's a good thing for the government. Not great for our leverage. It's less leverage to make a deal in January, February.
Yeah.
But it's good for for keeping things going on that side. The Affordable Care is supposed to be revisited, and that's bullshit because the Republicans, nothing's going to change their mind on it. They don't want to fund it. They never wanted to fund it. So they're not going to. Now there's no leverage. There might be leverage in February if there's another shutdown. But saying we're going to kick it down the road and vote on it again is stupid because the House did not say they would vote on it again. So even if the Senate said, yeah, we approve, give $1 billion for ACA, they're not going to vote on it in the House. So it doesn't really make a difference.
Right.
And,
but Mike Johnson's a real respectable guy. He'll do the right thing, right?
No, he already said, I'm not, that we didn't make a deal. He already said he didn't make a deal. It had nothing to do with him. He wasn't in the room.
He wanted to wash his hands of it before it even has happened.
Yeah, he's like, but we're not voting on that in the House. We had no reason to.
Yeah.
And I think the Republicans, they gave a little on narrowing their funding scope for some of the departments rather than giant omnibus bill that they agreed to break some things down and be more specific. So if they follow through on that, that's, I think, beneficial.
Is it? So let me ask this question: Is it too late? Is it too late for our pressure to? Do they already do the vote, or they agreed to vote?
Well, agreed to vote.
So this was to break the filibuster, and then they vote. But the Republicans can win on a party line vote.
Right.
Well, they don't need 88 to even vote to support the bill. They just need to break the filibuster.
Yeah.
But they voted to break the filibuster, or they've agreed to vote to break the filibuster?
Agreed to vote.
Agreed to vote.
So they can go back.
Decision has happened. They can go back.
So they could change their minds and go back on it.
They could say, "Oh, people are talking about primarying us, and people are pissed." So pressure, call.
Because it looks like at this point, what they said is we can choose people or the government, and we think getting the government funded is more important than what the people want.
Yeah,
and it's clear what the people want because again, we swept the primaries. So I mean, not the primaries, but the municipals across the country, the elections across the country went blue. So clearly, people are not blaming the Democrats; they're supporting what they're doing. So that these people chose government over people at the very least, or maybe something more sinister, but at the very least, giving them the most benefit of the doubt, they chose government.
Giving up a week out, less than a week after losing, is the most Democratic Party thing that we could possibly do. Like,
we're winning, let's quit.
Yeah,
let's snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's it's just
and
absolutely.
So let's talk about some of the more ethereal things that does. So right, the next time, so in January, when they're negotiating the rest of the spending bill, and the Democrats say we're going to shut down the government if you don't do it, will the Republicans take that as even a threat? They're going to be like, yeah, you'll do it for a month and then you're going to fold. We know you're going to fold. Why even play the game that you're not going to fold?
Right.
And for the voters, it's like, for all Democrats who are currently in office, not just these 8, it's kind of like, you were not strong enough to keep your coalition together.
Mm-hmm.
Why should you stay? Like, you're not doing shit for me. Like, you don't have to buy into the garbage. Both parties are the same, but you can have one party is evil and one is useless. And so I need to replace everybody currently in office because you weren't able to get it done. You just weren't.
Both can be true. Yep.
Yeah. Alex, I'm going to share what you just wrote because I completely disagree with it.
What?
I think the voters still have the power. Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady ends up with turtle soup.
Technically, we still have the power.
So is the other option just cave?
No.
That's how I feel about that.
I think that keeping some sense of hope is a good thing, but I also think that it's just like to I think that we need to show up and vote next year for the midterms. We need to be there and vote. You're absolutely right about that. But like the hopefulness of like we still have the power. No, like they just fucked everybody, and we need to like recognize that too, and then use our power to do what we can about that. But like this, this is something that we, especially if it ends up taking away the ACA, it's something that we could potentially not have. We could potentially take years, if not decades, to fix. Like we need to be able to get so much to get the ACA back. Think about what it took to get it there in the first place. This is if we give in, this is a clusterfuck of huge proportions.
So to me, the voters still have the power is to state that there is not a scenario where a voting electorate, whether it's us as citizens, whether it's Senate or House members that are supposed to be representing these states or these constituencies, the voters, whether it's the professional ones or the amateur ones like us, we have the ultimate say in all of this. And what I mean by slow is I'm the guy who will cut off my arm to make sure someone else gets an arm. I literally don't care. Because for me, true empathy is not a disease, it's the solution. So I feel that we've got to go that far to get the best result. We just do. So if it means, unfortunately, there's collateral damage, well, that's why it's called war sometimes. It's unfortunate, but I see it as the case. Yeah. So I'm not saying the power in the way that, like, hurt others to get the result. I'm more saying the voters have the power in the way that if no one caved, we might have some more starving people, but we wouldn't be having this conversation together, the three of us.
Yeah, but if we did, like, I really think that not only is it fucking over all of what we just talked about, but it is like what Matthew was saying before, is it's going to fuck over re-election chances a lot. Leah's in the chat, and she said it's going to make this craziness is going to make next year's midterm fights even harder because if we had won last week and then
hard to get out the vote, right? People who don't vote because they think, oh, what's the difference of voting? And now you're like, yeah, what's the use? The Democrats had them in the palm of their hand and did nothing. Why should I bother voting? And getting out the vote is what makes you win or lose. The people who are already dedicated to vote one way or the other and undecideds are not as important as getting the base out, getting people out who didn't vote last time.
And
Tom Mondani won in New York, a record turnout, and it was for him.
Yeah. And the other thing that it affects, unfortunately, is the fact that the people like us who understand that Fetterman and Gene Shaheen and all these other people are our dinos, or whatever, like that, we know that, like, the other people are going to say, well, the Democratic Party's ineffective, and maybe we need to, like, people are dumb.
Both can be true at the same time.
People are dumb and uninformed sometimes. So you're going to get a lot of people who are going to learn the wrong lesson out of this too, which is going to be like,
I know, you're right.
Look what happens. We got Mamdani, and then a week later we lost ACA. Like, people aren't going to connect things correctly.
So you're concerned about
Alex,
fair weather voters?
Modify your statement.
Huh?
The power is still there for the voters to take if they will take it.
Yes.
Fair.
Right.
I like that additional context. That adds some gravity to the statement. No, I like that.
Right.
I do.
And I like I like that you're hopeful. I just, I didn't mean to, when I said that.
So cute that you're hopeful, Alex.
Right.
The fact that you think anything's going to go right in this country anymore is great. Last week really convinced you, and no, I'm hoping. Hopefully, right now the unpopularity of the for these 8 makes something happen in that way, so this falls through and we can go strong and keep going. Hopefully Mamdani does an excellent job over the next year and has limited interference from the people who don't want him to succeed, and we can go into the midterms going like, look at what the Democrats have done and look what the Republicans have done.
Can I give you my January 21st 2020's 9 prediction? President Buttigieg is sworn in. He looks out to the crowd. He says, we finally have the House and the Senate, and I have agreement from our new leaders of both parties that we're going to pass a judiciary bill, that we're going to up the Supreme Court to 15 justices, and I'm going to be appointing them, and we are going to save this country. Wait, someone's coming in. Oh, never mind. There's a giant superstorm coming, and the entire Earth is going to freeze because we did nothing for climate change for the last 4 years. I'm so sorry. Goodbye.
I'm so sorry. Plans on hold. Goodbye.
I was going to say, am I going to be the only one who's not going to be hopeful on this episode? Because you sound real hopeful there for a second. And thank you for not being
no problem. I'm happy to think that climate change is going to kill us all, despite whether we win or lose on these battles.
When it comes to being hopeful, I think that there is a balance we have to strike between being hopeful enough to be complacent and hopeful and hopeless enough to just, well, fuck it, I'm not doing anything. Because we need to find that sweet spot of like, if we act, we can possibly fix this. Not, we're definitely going to fix it, so I don't even need to show up. And not like, it's all doomed, I don't need to show up. Like, we need to show up. That's the
right. We don't want optimists or pessimists. We want realists.
Yep. We want realists who are like, I'm going to go out fighting even if I'm going out. And Leah says, Pete Buttigieg for president 2028.
I mean, for the last 20 minutes of the Earth.
Yeah. At this point, if I would definitely pick him over a lot of other options.
He's just the first realistic option that popped into my head. I'm sure there are other good ones. He's just the first one that popped into my head.
Yeah. So I was editing last week's
okay.
episode. And...
So what you're saying is something my wife and I have also talked about. A out gay man will get elected before a woman.
I think it.
Because I think that's the case. I believe it. Right.
I think he has definitely possibility of getting elected. But I also think that if Harris were to start up like after the midterms, she might be able to get him the motion to get back to work. I mean, Trump just proved the lie of if you lose once, you're out. Like Trump has proven you don't have to give up politics after you lose. So I think that she could, with a proper full campaign and a primary to vet her and everything right, she could have potential to come back. And there are probably others. I think AOC is still a little too young to do it. Cory Booker has a good possibility. He's got a lot of love behind him. He handled a really big city like Newark as a mayor, so that's a good plus. Roy Cooper will only have been senator for 2 years, but that's still not a bad time to jump off from. But there's other possibilities.
I'm totally spacing. What was the guy who ran for vice president with Harris?
Tim
Walz.
Tim Walz. I was like, Tim Kaine ran with Hillary, and because Tim Kaine's more present in mind. Tim Walz,
because Tim Kaine's a motherfucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I would love to see Tim Walz. I think that he has, he brought such life to the campaign at the beginning. Then they told him to like go out there and make friends with JD, and I think that hurt them. And I think Tim Walz, it would be a great option, and I also think
he's
that
young
sometimes
enough, I guess he's born in 64. He's young enough.
Yeah, and sometimes people are more likely
younger,
to vote.
But he's not too old. He's not Biden-esque.
There are a lot of people who I think the mentality is that governor is more qualifying than senator in a lot of ways because it's
Ricochet Rita has the dream ticket. Roy Cooper, Cory Booker ticket.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean at this point, as long as it's not JD and Erica or
versus JD and Erica.
Yeah, or Madge Taj Gadge and whoever.
I have just as much of an ill taste for corporate Democrats as I do for ill-willed Republicans and conservatives. And in fact, it's probably even stronger. And the reason I believe that, the reason I hold to that feeling is if you are most often doing the best by a group of people where civil rights and the best for all, obviously minus some collateral damage, is your goal, but instead you just turn out to be the lesser bad because you're the Democrat, like that's not enough. It is not enough.
I will say that if you look at the mayoral race last week, I think that way about Curtis Sliwa and
okay, good point.
Cuomo. No, I agree. I'm agreeing with you on that. With Cuomo, like I think I would like from everything I saw, I think that Curtis Sliwa seems like a weirdo, but he seemed like a more authentic representative of the people than Cuomo did. I think that
I agree.
As long as you're a fan of cats,
should have been a populist candidate, except he's New Yorkers have known him for 30 years and know he's not capable of doing the job. The thing is, like to a lot of people, he's someone like, oh, he seemed really, really down to earth, and he is, but he's also a nut job and always has been, and we've all known that since I was a teenager.
Right. And so, like, I see that as being what you're talking about, Alex. I think that on the national scale, I don't see that the same way. Like, as much as I don't like Gavin Newsom, or I don't, love a lot of those like corporate Democrats, I still would rather them than somebody who is.
I'm agreeing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that you prefer.
I think emotionally he hates them more because they're closer to being able to do it.
Yeah, they're this much closer to doing it right, but are choosing not out of greed and just overall weak-willed stupidity. I know a conservative is going to be a hateful asshole. I don't want a Democrat to be a hateful asshole, but with a veneer of nice because I can't be totally grifty mean. Like, don't do that.
I agree on the emotional level, and then I'd say the political, and I don't think you'll disagree, Alex. At least you can hope to move that Democrat to do the right thing more often.
I have a better my hill
like Joe
is a little less
Joe
steep.
mentioned is that 85% of the time he voted with Biden stuff. The 15% of what we hate him for, but 85% a Republican would have voted against.
Good example.
Yeah. I think that's a huge reason why I will vote corporate Democrat before I vote nutjob Republican.
In the general.
Yeah. No, in the
and that's the key. We can stick to our convictions in the primaries and in local level and fight for the people we really want to fight for, and then work with the ones we have to work with when we have to. But get out there and volunteer. Knock on doors for people. Write postcards and send it. Give money. Do phone banking. There's lots of stuff to do at every level. And then the levels are important because the people who we hear about on the national level were on the town council or the school board. Then they we have a friend who was on the town council in Cary, and then she was a county commissioner, and now she's a state representative. If she chooses to try to go higher, she may end up state senator. Then she may end up being a congressperson. Like, that's the ladder.
Yeah.
And if you only see them for the first time when they're running for Congress, you've missed an opportunity to decide who's in position to run for Congress by not being aware of the people at the lower levels who over the next 10 years are going to move up.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the crazy Madge Tadges came from. They went to school boards where people don't notice who's running for them and got, power.
Yep.
This is another example that Matthew makes where your local government has more of an effect on your everyday life than the big names that show up on the news ticker, because they're the ones that actually make decisions that directly affect the stuff that happens to you every day.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, this person I'm voting for, yeah, sure, you voted for them. But like Matthew just mentioned, where did they start? Did you sniff out the shit early to understand better how they're going to behave when they move up? Like, again, I didn't pay attention to politics when I was in my 20s and not my 30s either. So for me, I'm hearing of these names while on this project with these gentlemen. I use that term loosely. And I want to learn from it, but the effect of your local is so much stronger than the national every time.
Also, just as a good example of somebody who did rise to the ranks, Bernie Sanders was the mayor of Burlington as an independent. Bernie Sanders, like Burlington, Vermont, while is really nice, I don't think it's a big player on the national scene. And now Bernie Sanders is one of the, 10 most recognizable names in politics in America, because he just kept doing it at the next level and fighting for what he believed in. And there's a lot of that. It's rare that you're going to see somebody, come out and, jump right in at a higher level than that.
And unless like a business person or some other high profile person beforehand.
Yeah.
From somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway, the other thing that I want to say about voting, Matthew, that you were saying that, get out there and vote.
Knock on voters' doors.
Knock on voters' doors, but also like vote your conscience in the general. Vote your conscience in the primary, and vote with what you've got in the general. You have two options. No matter how many names are on the ticket in the general, you have two options every single time. And like, keep that in mind. It's either.
I will say in New York City, the Independent beat the Republican.
Very true.
There was really only one option at the end of the day, but
yeah.
But the Independent
sleazeball and sleazeball, but I mean,
but yes,
you're right. In general, you're definitely right.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that happening on a national scale.
Just the point is laid out in the fact that Bernie wanted to be president, and every time he ran, he switched the Democratic Party for the length of the campaign because he was not going to run as an independent and try to run because
he doesn't want to be a spoiler.
And splitting a vote.
Yeah, and if his name had been on the general, I wouldn't have voted for him in the general, but he would have been a spoiler. He would have done what so many other people have done by running third party and spoiling it for one side or the other. There are only two options in the general elections
unless
on
we
a
get
national
ranked
scale.
choice voting.
Unless
some places have ranked choice voting, even in federal, so they have different options. So,
and with those places, do what you want to do a little more freely. I absolutely support that. But if you're not in those like 2 or 3 states that have that as an option, when you're talking about the presidency, you're talking about either a Republican or a Democrat for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
Yep. And it may be unpleasant.
But I think that when you're wondering who's going to end up winning, they can win your state. Again, someone can win your state because of ranked choice voting.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also vote your conscience and know that the Democrat Republican is probably still going to win, but the other person could get a higher profile and could help.
Yeah.
But really,
do you remember when I said earlier the voters have the power? Do you remember me mentioning that?
Potentially, if they vote, it's not what it is. Who the real power is in the non-voters who should be voting, who aren't.
Or the people Or the people who decide to show up and they want to go vote for Gary Johnson or Jill Stein. Those people fuck everybody over.
If you want to be a third-party person, that's wonderful. Do that for like town council and school board, and then maybe county commissioner. Like, build a base. You don't get to say, I've always wanted to be a doctor. I'm going to start by getting a job as the head of surgery without going to medical school. Go work your way up.
Yeah, unless you're on unemployment and you just have to fill out job applications and you're not trying to actually get a job.
Okay, then go ahead and apply.
I was when I went to college, I was on unemployment for a couple of years where they had a program where they'd pay you without looking for jobs while you were in school, as long as you were going to finish within 2 years. But anytime it was like longer than a 3-week break, you had to look for a job. So like Christmas break every year, I had to look for a job between semesters. And my dad was like, doesn't say you have to look for jobs that you're actually qualified for. You just have to show that you applied for 3 jobs, because I couldn't take the jobs. So like if I got them, because I was going back in 4 weeks instead of 3. So I would apply for like doctor positions and stuff. We're outside the statute of limitations on that, by the way. If that was illegal,
if that was any kind of fraud.
Yeah. It's been 11
years. It's fun. Like one summer college, my friend Howard, one of my best friends since 8th grade, he was told by his father he would have to cut his very long curly hair. His father was a cop, so he had to cut his long hair if he didn't get a job within 2 weeks of summer vacation started, getting home from college for the summer. And it was the day before like his deadline, and he was like over at my house drinking a beer, just bitching like, "I'm going to book the haircut, get with the haircut." My father goes, walks by and he goes, "Why do you need a haircut?" He goes, "My dad said if I don't get a job, I need a haircut." He goes, "Okay, you start tomorrow. We'll pick you up on the way to work. You're working for me for the summer." And like he worked with me doing like stock and deliveries in my dad's store for the summer. It was the best summer ever having a job. Like it was so much fun, the two of us together. And my dad the hippie, saved him from needing to get a haircut.
Nice. All right, so let's start wrapping things up. I know Alex has to go soon, so let's wrap things up. Any last thoughts before we start the the YouTube spiel? I think this is a no.
Yeah, I would say just to reiterate, we can't rely on politicians to save us. So get out there, protest, vote, volunteer, give money, listen to this podcast, like, subscribe, and comment.
Yeah. And if you're watching us, you should be subscribed. And anyway, give us a like. Please. And if you're listening to us through your ear holes, go ahead and give us a follow, or hit the plus sign,
give
or whatever.
Some money.
And then
the spiel, guys. You all know. Come on.
Yeah,
to like, subscribe on the YouTube. To give like or rate us. If you are on Apple, give us a damn rating on iTunes. If you're not, download iTunes and give us a rating. Only a 5-star rating, because it punishes you for a 4-star. Fucking Apple. But
they
go
will
ahead and
find
give us a 5-star rating. Go to patreon.com/talking about the big stuff and give some money, whatever you can afford. Don't even worry about what the benefits are. The benefits are, what the benefits are. You sing with every other podcast.
You get to see more of my face.
Shit. You get unedited shit. You get early shit. You get all the shit. You know that. Just give us the fucking money.
Yeah. And it's a really good deal, like, because it's not per episode, it's per month. So like $1 a month
it's like a period.
Is 25 cents.
Every month we come around, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And you know what? While you're at it, buy Mike's goddamn books. Hold the books up, Mike. Come on, hold the books up. Yeah. Got the dinner party. That's out as your view watching this. And there's even local bookstores that carry it in fucking stock.
Yes.
He's a real author now.
And I keep getting more and more reviews. I got a review like 20 minutes before we got on today. I got another review, another 4-star review this time. Yesterday was a 5-star. And then I got
we're not iTunes, so we'd like a 4-star review.
Yeah.
For his book.
Everything I've got left is my other book.
Which is a lie, because now he has a dinner party left.
That's true.
And here's the most important thing, people, about the dinner party. Alex, you can agree with this. Most important thing is, if it makes money, once Mike recoups his costs, money could go back into the podcast. Money,
This is very true.
the company will get money if Mike and Dan get in the black, and we can start having some money spent for our pizza parties.
Yeah.
But I have to stop funding them.
Also, I've been told it's a really good book, and my mom read it.
We can charge Alex less for the privilege of producing us.
You're right.
I will paraphrase my mom about the book real quick and just be like, there's some really uncomfortable sex scenes in it. No, not for you, just for my mom. She thought they were.
I was about to say, right. How about this? None of the positive reviews are from us.
That is actually
on
true.
Anything he's ever done for
on anything he's ever done.
Yeah,
and he worked for me, and I had to do performance reviews.
Yeah, that's true. That's why you fired me on New Year's Eve.
I gave you
what
to
a schlub!
Anyway,
you gave him the day off. You saint!
No, I didn't give him the day off. I gave him to Lenny. I gave him to someone else to pick on.
So, Matthew, last thought, and then we'll.
Thank you for staying with us till the end, or joining late because you didn't realize we started early. As we stood here to talk about the big stuff, and the big stuff in this case was Democrats caving, but we can't let that stop us from fighting. So fight, fight, fight.
Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. It's just the beginning. If you have thoughts or questions or topics you'd like us to tackle in a future episode, drop us a line on our social media channels. Engage with this video when you are now watching it as a VOD on YouTube. Send us an email. We love hearing from our listeners, bringing us topics, because if you leave it up to the three of us, we're going to eventually be talking about underwater basket weaving. So we would appreciate you guys reaching out a little bit. Don't forget to subscribe to Talking About the Big Stuff on your favorite platform. Give us a 5-star rating. Engage with it. Criticize us. We need to grow and be better, and you're going to help us be there. You're going to help us get to that point. It really helps us more to reach out and also to keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more big ideas and more thought-provoking discussions. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep talking about the big stuff.
The preceding podcast has been a Chocolate Diamond Media LLC production. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved.